We turn our focus now to Jamaican football here on the SportsMax zone. After 26 exhilarating match weeks, the preliminary round of the Jamaica Premier League has ended. In a season littered with drama throughout it, it was no different with this match week as teams jostled for playoff places. Everything ended as it started. Playoff teams holding their spots amidst a tense regular season finish. Here are the match week 26 results. A 4-all draw, 8 goals in that match between Falkland and Chapelton Maroons. Arnett Gardens getting the better of Tivoli Gardens, a win for Dunbeholden against Mount Pleasant. No goals in the match between Harbourview and Vere United. Portmore, a 3-0 win over Malines. Cavalier overcoming Montego Bay United 2-1. And again, no goals in the match between Waterhouse and Humble Lion. Well, this is how the final table looks. Arnett Gardens at the top of the table on 55 points. Cavalier sitting in second on 52. Mount Pleasant in third and Harbourview round out the top 4. Humble Lion in fifth on 42 points and Dunbeholden in sixth position on 41. As we would have told you on this show many times, Falkland and Chapelton Maroons, they have been relegated. 13 points for Falkland and 9 for Chapelton Maroons. Well, joining us now to dissect what has unfolded is our in-house football analyst, Leger Williams. So, Leger, on Friday, you came on our show, the SportsMax Zone, and you had some super bold predictions. You were saying a lot. Let's take a look at that.
I said that Portmore are going to get into the playoffs, and although they've been trying their hardest not to do so by starting first half the way that they have been and then getting into their own in the second half.
Okay. What? Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this.
I'm going to stick with my bold prediction. I'm going to be wrong and strong if it comes down to that. And I'm going to say that Portmore will somehow sneak their way into that 6th position because Dunbeholden will not beat Mount Pleasant.
Stop it. Get some help.
And Waterhouse playing Humberland in the other game to decide the 6th spot. I think that Humberland will draw with Waterhouse, leading the way for Portmore United to sneak into that 6th position. That's my official prediction for this weekend.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's only fair that I let you speak for yourself. And I just want our viewers, for those of you that may have missed that show, he is the self-proclaimed prediction guru. He has a song for himself. He has a name for himself. Leger, the floor is yours.
Well, I mean, first of all, we can't get everything right in life. That's the first thing I like to say. But, I predicted 3 games. I got 2 out of those 3 right. In my world, that's a pass. That's all I'm going to say. But unfortunately, in terms of the football, I said Waterhouse and Humberland were going to draw. That came true. I said that Portmore would easily dispatch of Malines United. That came true. But for some reason or another, Mount Pleasant, I always harp on about Mount Pleasant at this show, but they let me down. They really let me down against Dunbeholden. I thought that they would have the quality edge. They clearly didn't. I didn't get to watch the game, of course, but yeah, Dunbeholden, it looked like they came from behind to beat Mount Pleasant 3-1. And in a football sense, it set up a really tantalizing game actually for the quarter-final round, which starts on Monday. Because it's going to be Dunbeholden versus Mount Pleasant yet again.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. And our producer, Ramon, he always says to me that, it's important for the psyche to win these games. So yes, Mount Pleasant may have said, okay, we don't need to win this game. They're probably, at halftime, they probably got word that Cavalier were winning. So they're saying, okay, we don't need to win this game. But I think that they should have put Dunbeholden to the sword and beat them.
Yeah.
Because he likens it to when Arsenal played FA Cup.
You and him had a long discussion about this.
Yeah, that he was saying that Arsenal shouldn't have gone weak. They should have tried to beat Manchester City from then to establish dominance. And there is some validity in that.
Yes.
I think it should have been a similar thing. All that with the caveat that if Mount Pleasant did beat Dunbeholden, they wouldn't have played each other in the playoffs. But at the same time, I think that even at the very least, Mount Pleasant should have been looking to get some extra form going into the playoffs regardless. So it's going to be interesting to see how Mount Pleasant then now deal with Dunbeholden, who will be a stronger team possibly going into the playoffs. They'll be maybe looking forward to getting back Nicole Christian at some point. during that tie. So, Mount Pleasant, you spent a lot of money, you have a very good coaching staff, you have a lot of good players. To a lot of people, you shouldn't even be in the playoff scenario. You should be at the top 2 with Arnett or maybe replacing Cavalier. So I think pressure-wise, a lot of pressure will be on Mount Pleasant to perform. And especially since that they have cast me and made people question me as a prediction guru, I'm going to pile extra pressure on them going forward as well.
Lisha, I want to ask you a quick question, because we've already established that Arnett Gardens are the team showing most momentum going into the playoffs. They're looking like a championship winning team. But outside of Arnett Gardens, back end of the regular season, heading into the quarterfinal playoffs, which we will look at in a moment, which of the other teams do you think are showing the kind of tenacity and temperament to challenge for the title?
Well, I think all 6 have a viable shot at winning.
Yes.
We always speak about Arnett's qualities, as you mentioned, but Cavalier, they're one of the best coach, if not the best coach team in the division. So I think with Rudolph Speed at the helm, they'll always have a chance. In terms of Mount Pleasant, I mentioned that there's such a talented squad with a lot of good coaches. They'll have a chance as well. In terms of Harborview, they're the defending champions. I think they have a winning mindset and a winning pedigree to them. So that could cause a...
Before you go there, though, they've won just one of their last 4 matches, and that was against lowly Montego Bay United, who nobody really rates. And they haven't scored any goals in their last 2 matches, Harborview, and I think they've scored just 1 goal in their last 3. So Harborview aren't really, at the moment, playing like champions, are they?
No, they aren't, but a lot of people would say last year they weren't playing like champions at any point
heading into the playoffs,
season. And we know how Ludlow Bernard wants to go about the season. He deals with football like it's a track program. Wants to prime everyone for the right time to peak at the championships. And I think it will be very similar in these playoffs, but they do have a very tough tie against Humber Lion, who are the best defensive team in the league. I think the struggle for them will be getting goals at certain instances. Then also have to bring to consideration Dumbo Holding, who went to the final last year. They're in some really good form going into the playoffs. They are the dispatch of Mount Pleasant going into it. So they'll be a good team. My only concern with them would be their squad depth, because they'll be competing in both the Link Cup and the Jamaica Premier League. So they'll be competing on a Friday, then competing on the Monday. So not much rest in between those competitions. So it's going to be interesting to see how they will deal with that. Harborview as well. But I think Harborview have the depth squad-wise to deal with that. So yeah, it's going to be tight in the playoffs, but that's what we like to see. We like to see very exciting football. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. We have the quarterfinal lineups, don't we? Can we have a quick look at those to get Liz's comment on that?
So that would be Down Beholden and Mount Pleasant, Harborview and Humber Lion, right?
Yeah.
So, quick prediction.
Oh, that's a good...
That word.
You've already sort of touched on the Mount Pleasant Dunbeholden battle, because they just met. But this one is the important one.
Yeah. That's a tough one, you know. First of all, I think that game could be really good. I think you'll have a lot of goals, both of the legs. That's a tough one. It's all the way next Wednesday, 7 days.
Yeah. Okay, so give you some time.
Yeah, give me some time.
I hear you.
I'll be back. I'll be back, and I'll be right this time.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like if we give you too much time, you might behave like Pep.
No, he won't. He won't.
No.
In fact, we won't allow him to, so don't worry about that.
You're holding me accountable.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to continue, right, Lisha? Okay. The producer is saving you. Former national striker and the head coach of the league winners of the preliminary round, Arnett Gardens, was quite perplexed about the lack of a trophy for their efforts in the season.
Well, I must say crime and violence must stop, you know. Secondly, I'm really disappointed. You can't win a league and you don't get a cup. I don't understand what it's all about, you know. You win a league. Where's the cup? That's really embarrassing. Unless there's no cup to win a league, and there should be a cup to win a league. This is the Premier League, come on. You know, I think they dropped the ball just now. You win a league, you should be celebrating to win the league. Very disappointed.
So is he right? Do they need a trophy? And let's talk about the significance of, presenting a team with a trophy.
I mean, say for instance, in a competition that has a similar layout to this, like the championship in the second division in England, for example.
Yes.
The champions do get a trophy, even though there's a playoffs, but it's a different format of playoff. The playoffs is to determine the third place team. This is the regular season in the Jamaica Premier League. Yes, it's important for seeding, but whether you get a trophy isn't really here or there, because the trophy is insignificant. If you get the trophy now and then lose in the playoffs, no one is going to remember that you came first. No one remembers. Off the top of my head right now, I'm not even going to lie to the public, I'm struggling to remember who came first last season, because all I remember is Harborview hoisting that trophy at the end of the season, of course. So at the end of the day, it would be a secondary prize. So I don't think it's that significant to have a trophy. But, you know, maybe it would be nice for them to have a little celebration in front of their fans and say, okay, we came first.
Yeah, Waterhouse were the regular season champions last year. They were the top-seeded team.
No, but I get what coach is saying, you know, Lance, because the thing is, it's a body of work.
But the season is finished. The format doesn't decide the season now. And I've never seen a regular season champion win a trophy. What I remember is that the regular season champions usually get a cash prize, recognizing their form in the preliminary, the regular season phase of the competition. But I've never seen a cup presented in Jamaica's format of football to the team that wins the regular season, because this is akin to like the NBA or so on. So maybe the Milwaukee Bucks should have gotten a cup then for being the regular season champion, because they were number one in the league, not just the Eastern Division. They were number one in the league. So they were the top team in the regular season, the Milwaukee Bucks. But as we see, they have nothing to celebrate now.
Yeah,
because they didn't win when it mattered.
Yeah, all I was trying to think about is, you know, coach's reasoning, and maybe that's what he would use to motivate the players and whatnot. Because this statement obviously comes from somewhere. So trying to understand, you know, what he was trying to do by saying that, of course.
Yeah, I just think though, Liz, that I'm not sure if the current JPL format rewards the regular season champions in any way at all.
Yeah.
I believe they should get some sort of recognition, and the previous format did, as I said, allow, I think it was a 1.5 million prize for the team that ended up top seed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that exists at the moment, and I don't know if they did that, if that would satisfy Paul Teagat Davis. But Teagat knows the format, and he knows that winning the overall championship is what gives you the cup or the trophy.
Yeah, that's what's important to me. He's been harping on about that all season, to prime his team to make that playoff push, and once they're in the playoff, be extremely comfortable, get to the CONCACAF Champions League, so many things. So he knows that. I think maybe he mentioned that he could be using it for a motivational tool. I think he could be doing it the other way around. Instead of saying, okay, we've won this, let's go win another one, he could be saying, look at how good we have done.
Yes.
They haven't recognized us in any way. Let's go out and get the recognition then. There are different motivational tactics.
If it works, it works.
Before we end the segment, though, a quick word, Liz, on the Waterhouse disappointment. This is the first time since 2016, 2017 that they aren't making the playoffs. And to be fair to Waterhouse, over the past 5 or 6 seasons, they have been the most consistent performing team. I know Portmore were back-to-back champions 2018 and 2019, but in the body of playoff performances, Waterhouse have been the most consistent team in regular season football for the past 5 seasons or so. How shattering is it for the Waterhouse fans that they aren't making the playoffs for the first time in about 7 years?
It's extremely for them, because they were deducted 3 points. If it wasn't for that, they would have been in the playoffs probably comfortably. That goal difference on their side as well. So it's tough to swallow for them, but overall this season, it would have been, it's hard for me to say that they're completely deserving of that playoff place, because they haven't been consistent enough, in my opinion. Goal scoring wise, defensively, they've been inconsistent as well. They haven't been dominating games as they usually do as well. So it's tough for the fans. I know it will be, but they just have to rebound. They do still have a very good coach in Marcel Gale, so they just have to rebound and try and build the squad right next year.
Right, and of course, Leger, I want to thank you. And in your own words, I hope you rebound with the predictions. I know it's tough right now, but you're going to come back stronger the next time you predict.
Always, of course, I have to.
All right, thank you.
But you know, he usually is quite good. I'm
No,
not sure.
he's spot
I'm
on.
not.
That's why
I'm
I'm
not
just
sure if
feeding him.
his decline in form with his predictions is coincidental. That it
Arsenal
is happening at the same time when Arsenal are declining.
I wouldn't say we're declining. We had a lovely win over the weekend.
But you've been on the decline.
No, but now we're on the up, and I'm going to join them going on the up.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Leger. Of course, we're going to take a quick break and come back. If it's anything, we can talk to you all show, but we have other segments to do.
No problem.
Break time. Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news, and entertainment.